Hi everyone, Irina here. I had a very busy July and August, and I figure I'll share with you some of my travels, some of the people I met, and some of the things that's going on in my life. So to start with, I got the message from the guy you all know and love, Martin from Need 365 blog, and he told me that he was coming to Florida with his family for 3 weeks, and he asked if there was any chance I could swing by and meet him in person. We've been friends for 4 years now on Instagram and on YouTube. We've done a lot of things together. We've done collaborations over Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, but we never met in real life. So I thought it was a perfect opportunity for me to go and meet him and hang out with him and just spend some time together. So I booked my tickets to Orlando and I went to meet Martin. It was really lovely. It felt very effortless. It felt like we've been friends forever. It didn't feel awkward at all. I got to meet his wonderful family and spend some time with his niece two and nephew one. I might be mixing the numbers, but Olivia and Noah were there, and Martin's brother and his wife and her parents were there, and of course Mark. So we all had great time in Disney Spring. Martin and I got to record an episode, and if you haven't seen it, go to Need 365 vlog and watch it there. He just posted it a couple days ago. I also got to meet with Sam from Sam's Tiny Trinkets, and Sam is twin sister of Andrea from Woolen Women Fibers. So these ladies dye yarn and they create stitch markers. It's a wonderful company. I love these girls. We've done a lot of things together. And recently, we decided to do a collaboration. I'll tell you more in a second. But when Sam came to visit me, she came to my hotel. We went for breakfast and we hung out and just knitted for a little bit. She brought me this amazing gift. She brought me this set of yarn and some stitch markers designed specially for Florida. And immediately I thought, wouldn't that make a perfect shawl? First, let me tell you about that collaboration. So, a few months ago, Andrea reached out to me and we were discussing creating an Advent shawl. And I wanted to make an Advent shawl for quite a while. And then Cecilia Campochiaro's book on reversible knitting came out. And I thought, wouldn't it be perfect to have an Advent shawl that's fully reversible on both sides? But for those of you who know me, you know my love of Shetland lace. So then I thought I should combine the fully reversible body of the shawl with Shetland lace edging, because Shetland lace is also reversible. And so the idea was born, and Andrea, even though she was having a baby and there were some complications with her pregnancy, she managed to put that Advent kit together. The colors are just absolutely spectacular. I can't share the colors with you, but I'll put a picture of what the shawl looks like in black and white. So you get the idea of the design itself. And the beauty of this shawl is that it's very simple. Everybody can do it. There is written instructions. There are charted instructions for the edging, but I also put a video link explaining line by line how to do the edging and how to turn the corner and all the difficult bits and pieces that might feel tricky a little bit. And these Advent kits are already available on Woolen Women Fibers websites or Sam's Tiny Trinket website. You can go and look at that Advent and see if you want to spoil yourself for Christmas and be surprised every day with a little bits of yarn. And they're going to put some surprise stitch markers, and there's like a lot of surprises that go into that box. So if you want that, I'm going to put the link to that advent box in the description of this video so you can find it. But anyways, when I've met Andrea and her mom before, they came to Boston, we got to hang out together. I even gifted her my very first design, Sweet Surrender. I made it in, Andrea was getting married at the time, and I made it in white, in bridal colors with sparkle. She loved that shawl. She used it for her wedding, and I was so happy to see her with that. But I haven't met Sam in real life, so it was a treat to see her in Orlando. She came to my hotel, we were knitting together, and she surprised me with this gift. So this kit, instead of an advent, there is 12 mini skeins and 1 full skein. This kit had 7 skeins and a full skein, but I thought, what if I'll make a modified version of the shawl for people who don't use advent for this pattern, but rather use whatever leftover yarns they have at home. I added 1 extra color just to make the lengths a little bit longer for my height. Like if you're on the shorter side, 7 skeins would also work, but I'm 5'5", so for me, 8 skeins were that perfect balance. And so here it is. And you can see the lace and the edging there. And it reminds me of the Florida coast. So it's those colors of Florida, Caribbean, you know, all the colors I love. If you know me, you know my obsession with all things blue. So this shawl, the pattern for this shawl will be available on September 14th, or you can buy the Advent kit from Woolly Women Fibers, and the pattern is going to be included in that kit. Whatever way you want to work with it, it's going to be available soon. Another very exciting thing that happened is, I don't know if you remember that sweater. I wore it last year at Rhinebeck, and I met with the editor of Laine magazine, Joanna Helen, and she offered me to publish this sweater in the magazine. And so that's been quite a few months of writing the pattern, testing the pattern, knitting a sample. The sample that you'll see in the magazine is in this beautiful, dark, deep blue color. But the original gangster here was in hot pink. I'm actually really pleased with this sweater because I love the neckline. I don't know if you can see it, but it creates this beautiful tempered jeweled neckline, sort of like a necklace that you would put on you. And it's all achieved by different types of short rows. And also it's simple because there's a lot of stockinette fabric, but it's also breaks with this little lace and a few cables. There's also some cables on the side. I don't know if you can see that. So there's a cable on the side. I hope you love it as much as I do. I'm really happy with this, how this sweater turned out to be. And it's knitted with yarn by Knitted for Olive. It's raw silk held together with kid mohair, and it creates this really beautiful drapey fabric. So I was very pleased with how it turned out to be. So this sweater is coming out in the next Laine magazine. It's gonna be issue 26, and it's coming out at the end of August, but it's already available for pre-order. So if you would like a copy of this magazine, just go on Laine's website and order it there. And I'm going to put the link for that as well in the description of the video. Well, after spending a day and a half with Martin and his family and meeting Sam in Orlando, I took a train to Miami to visit my parents. It was my dad's 79th birthday. My husband flew from Boston to Miami. I met him there, and we spent a few days with my parents celebrating my dad's birthday and my parents' 59th anniversary. Can you believe that? Yeah, so that was beautiful. And I started knitting this shawl right there and then. I was finishing a sweater by Claudia Quintanilla that's an upcoming pattern, and I'll put the picture here. My mom is modeling it. And that sweater is called Divino. So that's coming out like any day now. So keep your eyes open for that pattern. But I finished it and I needed something for the plane ride home. And so I started this shawl. And then once I came back to Boston, it was time to repack and fly to Seattle, Washington. I went with a few friends of mine from my local yarn store, The Unruly Stitch. If you watch my channel for a while, I talk about it all the time. It's my favorite local yarn store. I'm there practically every Thursday. We have a knit night from 6 to 8. So if you ever in the area, please visit. It's in Weston, Massachusetts, just about 20 minutes outside of Boston. So we went to Seattle to Flock Fiber Festival. It was my first time in Seattle, and it was also my first time at Flock. And I was very excited because I knew I'm going to meet a lot of people who I knew from Instagram and I knew from my interviews, but I never met in real life. And there were a lot of those people there. And I was just so happy to meet some of you guys who watch this channel and who write beautiful comments. Esther Rubin, thank you so very much for coming to see me. It was such a treat, truly. I was so happy to see you. And a lot of other people came to see me, to say hello, to take some pictures. Absolute treat. So we arrived to Seattle on Thursday evening, and we checked into Sheraton, right next to Conference Center. It's about like one block away. I was very surprised to see some of the ladies that I met at my knitting retreat in Italy. There was 5 of us. It was so amazing to have this little reunion. I didn't know they were coming to Flock, so it was a very pleasant surprise. Of course, we had to take a picture. There was this big lobby in the Sheraton where everybody was congregating and knitting and chatting and meeting other knitters. So we were spending a lot of time there, which is why this shawl grew so fast, because I had a lot of knitting time. Usually when I go to festivals, there is practically no knitting time, but this time, between all the flights and the time in the lobby of Sheraton, there was a lot of knitting time. After knitting in the lobby, I went with a couple of friends to Vivian's Bistro. It's a restaurant in Sheraton. The food was superb, the drinks were superb, the company even better. We had really great time there, and I highly recommend that restaurant if you're in the area. We were there twice and loved every dish. They could do no wrong. Everything was absolutely delicious. On Friday, we decided to take a ferry to Bainbridge Island because it was first time for all of us in Seattle. And we've heard so much about this island. It's very charming. The ferry ride is beautiful. I filmed some of it. I'm going to put it right here. There are 2 yarn stores on Bainbridge Island, Lemon Kid and La Mercerie, and we went to both. We visited both. I didn't buy anything there because I was wondering, I knew that they were both vending at Flock, so I figure I can buy it there. But also I was wondering what I'm going to find at Flock, and I was trying to be good and, not buy everything I see. It's a fun island to visit and like just to walk, have an ice cream or coffee. Seattle apparently is famous for its coffees, and the locals are very proud of the quality of coffee. So give it a try if you're a coffee drinker and you are there. There is also a fabric store there called Esther's Fabrics, and it's really interesting store. I'm not a sewist, so I didn't buy anything, but they have a lot of buttons and accessories. So it was still a very interesting visit. And we ran into Laura Nelkin and Thea Coleman there. So we chatted for a bit with them. It's a very charming island. It's a great place to spend a day or half a day. We came back on a ferry to Seattle in the afternoon, and then we decided to take a ride on the Ferris wheel. And the views were just incredible. It's really a fun experience. I highly recommend if you want to take a couple pictures from the height there and just to see the Seattle, the port, the ferries going to Bainbridge Island. It's all there. And it's just a beautiful place to hang out, have a drink, relax a little bit after a day of sightseeing. In the evening, we decided to go to an Italian restaurant not too far from the hotel. The map showed that it was 15 minutes walk. So we thought, a perfect way to break the knitting and get some steps in. Well, nobody told us that the walk was pretty much vertically up. Seattle is famous for its hills. It's almost like San Francisco. Some hills are more manageable than others. The last block going to that restaurant, it was really steep. So we came to the restaurant short of breath, but very excited to have some good Italian pasta and some appetizers and a couple drinks. The way back down was much easier, and we saw a beautiful sunset over the Pacific. The view was just spectacular. And the best thing was I got to spend time with my friends. We got back to hotel. I was exhausted. It was a long day after a lot of flights. I thought I'm going to crash. But then I got a text message from Olga Jazzy, who was in town. She was teaching at the festival, and she said they want to meet for drinks. And so I put my shoes back on and I went to meet with her and Jonah Helen and Alice Bird, and they had some other friends with them in Theodore Hotel bar. And I just went there to say hello and have, spend some time with them. So that was a wonderful end to a beautiful day. And the next day, we had to get up pretty early to go to Flock. So Flock Festival starts with classes on Friday, but the marketplace opens on Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday morning, we got up, we had breakfast, and we went very excitedly to Convention Center where the Flock Festival was taking place. The line was something out of Disney World, I'd say. It was snaking through the lobby multiple times, but somehow it was moving very efficiently. They had very good organization. The first 2 hours, face masks were required, so I wasn't taking too many pictures. At that time, I knew that at 12, the masks were coming off and I would have my chance to take pictures with people that I wanted to. And I was also having a meetup at the Twisted Ambitions yarn booth. Ross and I have been friends for a long time. He was on my channel, I think like 4 years ago when I first started. And that was the first time I got to meet him and his husband in real life. It was also beautiful to see his booth and the setup and the colors he chooses. It's just like so bright, and if you can't miss that booth. You walk by and you just stop in your tracks because it's all the neon colors you can imagine are right there in one place. And I'll show you what I brought home with me later on. So stay tuned for that. The festival was taking place on the second floor of the convention center, and the classes were on the third floor. It's very open space with very high ceilings, nice light. We are spoiled on the East Coast with all kinds of yarn and yarn festivals. There is a lot more farm yarn on the East Coast. Here it was more commercial. I was actually on the lookout for a very specific yarn, and I told all my friends to look out for that, and we couldn't find that. I was looking for merino linen in Aran weight, and we could not find air and weight pretty much at all. There was like one or two booths that had some, but not what we were looking for. So there were definitely a lot of yarn choices, a lot of really interesting dyers, just not the same variety that you see at Rhinebeck, for example. That's not to say that we came home empty-handed. We always find something interesting at every festival that we go. But for me, when I go to the yarn festivals, it's not about yarn. I mean, I love seeing what's new on the market. I love seeing new colors. I love seeing different approaches to yarn dyeing. It's all wonderful. And finding some new interesting accessories. Love that. But for me, it's all about meeting people, chatting with friends, reuniting with people. And so in that respect, Flock didn't disappoint. I want to share with you some of the videos I took at the Flock so you can see it for yourself and get the idea. And after you watch that video, I'll show you what I brought back home. Recap of the show. You want to wave? guys gonna be at the Indian Tangle?
Love it. Lower your expectations. Irina. Is it a video?
So remember I told you I was looking for a very specific Aran weight yarn. I didn't find it. I found something similar in yardage, so I went with worsted. It's by Yarn Niveau, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And it's 100% American Shanico wool, which is merino and rambouillet. And it's 100 grams and 228 yards. 3-ply worsted weight in gothy iron colorway. So I got 5 of those for a sweater that I'm test knitting for Jennifer Bill. And then that sweater asked for Suri alpaca, and it's two strands held together. And of course, because I was meeting with Ross at Twisted Ambitions yarn booth, I was looking around there and I saw this yarn. So you can see those little specks. This is all glow in the dark. It's called Whisper, and it's on the neon halo base. It's 42% merino, 32 superfine alpaca, 8% linen, 18% neon, single ply, 437 yards and 100 grams. So I got 2 of those because I'm supposed to hold them together for the yoke of the sweater. So stay tuned for that. I'm very excited to see how that's going to come up together. And I already swatched for the sweater and I found the needles to make the gauge. So it should work. And then another thing I saw were these adorable little glass markers by this store called Fiber and Flame. So I got them in this red color and I got them in blue. And I also saw in the same place this beautiful glass cable needle, and I just had to get it. It's $11 for the cable needle, and the stitch markers were $13 for each pack. So that purchase made me really, really happy. Another highlight was seeing some of the people I interviewed on my channel. So as I mentioned, Rose from Twisted Ambitions Yarn was there, but also Fiber Hustle guys. I spent some time with them. And Michael from Piece for Piece podcast was helping them through this weekend. Myself from Ocean Fibers. I haven't met her before, but she was a guest of my channel. I also got to spend some time with Katie from Knit Life Oils, and I'm not going to name everybody I met there. I'm going to put some of the pictures so you guys can see for yourself, but it was lovely to reconnect with people I know from previous places or meet somebody in real life, people that I know from internet, and of course, meet with all of you guys who watch this channel. I can't thank you enough for all of your wonderful comments. I hope you continue to watch Fiberchats and let me know in the comments who else you would like to see on my channel. One of the most requested people on my channel was Roxanne Richardson, so I recently posted an interview with her, but I'm always looking for new recommendations. So put it in the comments. I want to see who you would recommend, who you want to see on my channel. Well, thank you so very much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed this little recap, and till next time, happy crafting.